It's really wild how far the Game Boy Advance has come, thanks to the homebrew scene pushing it past its limits. Some of these fan-made projects look so good you'd swear they weren't running on 2 decades old hardware. The colors pop, the animations flow smoothly, and the effects completely redefine what was thought possible back then. It's that blend of nostalgia and technical wizardry that keeps people hooked. Watching passionate developers squeeze every last pixel out of the GBA is like seeing old-school magic meet modern creativity in the best possible way. In this video, we are going to talk about 10 graphically impressive GBA homebrew games that are too realistic for GBA. Also, drop a game in the comments below about a GBA that you find really graphically impressive. Let's get started. OpenLara, Tomb Raider port. If any of you guys ever thought your GBA could pull off nearly PlayStation level 3D, then OpenLara is a showstopper, instantly blowing away any expectations with environments that are deep, angular, and weirdly atmospheric. You start unraveling tomb puzzles as Lara Croft, and the controls bring back memories of careful platforming and aiming your jump with almost pixel-perfect timing. Seriously, half the thrill is peeking around each new cavern, wondering how the hardware is chugging through polygons and animated enemies. Sure, there are janky camera moments and some rough-around-the-edges platforming, but every ledge climb and lever pull is a "wait, how's this running here" moment. When you swim through water or turn corners, the simulation almost plays like magic. Classic Tomb Raider, squashed down to GBA. If you're an old-school explorer, you'll constantly push the game's boundaries just to see what else it can do. Honestly, it's not just nostalgia, it's next-level homebrew ambition, and the fun is in seeing how far you can take it before the system throws a fit. Toll Runner. Racing through Toll Runner always feels fresh, even when you think you've seen every obstacle it can throw at you. Instead of just running straight, you're weaving between lanes, ducking through toll gates, and timing those bursts for optimal speed. What caught me off guard is how every session gets trickier. Random patterns keep you guessing, and power-ups make risky choices totally worthwhile. The snappiness of the controls means every dodge is a thrill, especially when a clever jump sends you soaring past rows of traps. Visually, the game ramps up with layered backgrounds and city lights blinking past, adding a buzz to the arcade-style running. One moment you're in the groove, and a split second later you're smashing a toll gate and laughing at yourself. Leaderboard chases and near misses add suspense and make you want to retry for a cleaner run. When a homebrew runner nails both pacing and replay value, you know you've stumbled on something special. Zipline Zapper. So, strapping in for Zipline Zapper is pure energy. Instead of classic platforms or ladders, you're looping wild overhead wires, swinging with momentum and eyeing that perfect launch window. There's real physics to the swings. Landing them feels like a triumph, especially as new obstacles pile up with each round. The challenge ramps up with gadgets, environmental hazards, and tricky movement puzzles that keep your fingertips busy. Levels burst with kinetic background art, lightning flashes, swarms of bots, pulleys spinning everywhere, making every dash visually stimulating. Snap decisions rule the game. Do you risk a double swing or bail early for safety? Nailing a zip-to-platform combo or grabbing a collectible mid-slide is its own kind of victory. Every mistake, every crash is an instant invite to try again. This isn't just a speed test, it's about timing, creative problem solving, and learning from wild flubs. Action fans will get a jolt from the relentless pace and animated world. Sekhmet's Playground. Let's talk about how Sekhmet's Playground pulls you in. The first few screens dazzle with ancient Egyptian colours, golden sands, and moody blues, setting the vibe for a serious old-school adventure. You're dropped into rooms filled with traps and shifting block puzzles, the kind you need to watch and strategize around, never brute force. The platforming is tight, demanding just enough skill to make every leap feel earned. Enemies lurk, but the real tests are solving environmental puzzles and triggering hidden switches. The layouts twist and turn, never settling for basic left to right. Suddenly sand floods in, or you find a secret passage branching downward. What's really addictive is exploring every nook, finding hints carved into the walls, piecing together little story bits from artifacts and hieroglyphs. The whole experience is a blend of classic puzzle design and punchy action, slicker than most GBA adventures. This one's built for explorers, not just speedrunners. Discrete Orange. Okay, Discrete Orange is wild right from the start. A puzzle platformer dripping with neon style and tricky mechanics. You're dropped into levels where gravity, orientations, and movement rules keep shifting, so every go feels like a fresh mental workout. The orange visuals are bold and smooth, almost glowing on that tiny GBA screen. This isn't the kind of game where you just blast through. Some puzzles stop you cold and make you experiment, stacking jumps or toggling switches with perfect timing. Rapid respawns help, letting you retry instantly, and each successful run feels like solving a mini brainbuster. Sometimes the sound effects play along, turning moments of frustration into bursts of laughter. Discrete Orange isn't forgiving, but it's packed with that just one more try energy. Sometimes it's the weird physics, sometimes the genuinely clever level design, but it all comes together for an experience that's way punchier than you'd expect in Homebrew. BeatBeast. Alright, BeatBeast is a rhythm shooter with pulse-pounding beats and wild enemy patterns. The game immediately throws you against swarms of targets, daring you to time every blast perfectly to the music. The backgrounds feel alive, with waves of colour and animated effects synced to your actions. What really makes BeatBeast pop is how it rewards improvisation, not just memorization. Sometimes it's full panic mode, as the tempo spikes and you scramble to keep up. Other times you're in the zone, hitting satisfying combos. Missing a beat is a punch to the gut, but nailing long chains unlocks new visual flourishes and bragging rights. Difficulty spikes keep you engaged, but never unfair. Every new score, every mastered song makes you want to keep going. The addictive feedback loop and tight control design have you playing with your ears and reflexes, not just your thumbs. It's a total rush for perfectionists and rhythm junkies. Getting around it with Pheasant Birdy. Did you ever see a game where you spend half your time laughing at your own failures? Getting around it with Pheasant Birdy is a ridiculous, physics-driven climb-a-thon. No easy jumps here. You're swinging a hopelessly awkward birdie along walls and over obstacles using a wonky grabber mechanic. The controls are intentionally clumsy, and watching your progress a few inches at a time quickly becomes comedy gold. Wipeouts are inevitable. You'll slip, spin, and flop into pits constantly, and every crash is a cue for another try. The graphics bring chunky charm, making every flop super visible. There's actual strategy in trying weird moves, since you never know what crazy maneuver will somehow work. Hitting a new checkpoint feels like scaling Everest. If you love games where struggle is half the fun, think Getting Over It, but stuck in cartoon mode, this homebrew brings frustration and joy in equal measure. World of Zoink. Zoink isn't just another RPG. It's a little universe brimming with self-aware jokes and unpredictable puzzles. You slip into a world full of oddball characters whose conversations sometimes break the fourth wall or poke fun at your choices. Rather than generic turn-based combat, Zoink tosses in quick reflex challenges, minigames, and encounters that demand actual timing and clever strategy. Each new area is packed with visual gags, moving backgrounds, and tiny secrets. Progression means exploring and experimenting, with maps that twist in on themselves and quests that get more surreal as you go. The standout here is how every session uncovers something you didn't see before. A silly item, an inside joke, or a surprisingly tough encounter. It's layered, quirky, and the graphics are downright vibrant for a GBA game. If you want story, laughs, and a memorable sense of place, this world does it bigger than you'd expect from fan-made homebrew. Space Evangelion. Right when Space Evangelion loads, the sense of scale jumps out. Bright cosmic backgrounds, chunky mechs, and thundering projectiles, all packed onto the humble GBA. Gameplay is a sharp, classic shooter rush. You dart between walls of bullets, manage power-ups, and strategize to take down enormous boss enemies. The controls are tight if relentless, pushing your reflexes from the first level onward. Every battle is huge for this hardware, mixing timing challenges and wild effects that pop visually. While the three-stage campaign isn't massive, the boss fights come thick and fast with changing attack patterns that force you to adapt. The pixely mechs look awesome, and the music really pumps up the vibe. For anime fans and arcade shooter purists, it's just a short, punchy ride that proves GBA Homebrew can reach for epic scale. Landing a perfect run through a stage just feels addictive. Be ready for restarts. Dungeon Tactics Advance. Dungeon Tactics Advance is a smart take on tactical RPG dressed up in classic GBA style. From the start, you're deep into squad building, terrain strategies, and figuring out how to get the upper hand on clever monsters. It plays with turn-based grid combat, where smart planning beats button mashing every time. You juggle different characters, each with unique tools and upgrade paths, and depth only increases as the quests stack up. Visuals are crystal clear, with well-animated attacks and spell effects bursting off every tile. What sets it apart is how every map mixes up objectives: secure a point, defend a base, defeat special enemies, and encourages custom solutions. Success means learning enemy patterns and adjusting your tactics, not just leveling up stats. The learning curve is fair, and after a few wins, you're itching for tougher challenges. Fans of Final Fantasy Tactics and Fire Emblem will feel right at home with this one. So that's all on these insanely impressive GBA homebrew games that push the hardware way beyond what you'd expect. It's wild seeing how passionate devs keep surprising us with jaw-dropping visuals and gameplay that feel too real for such a tiny cartridge. If you enjoyed diving into these gems and want more crazy deep dive content like this, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss an upload. Drop your favourite game or any cool homebrew you've played in the comments. Thanks for watching, and catch you in the next one.